Something interesting that I found out in the last year is we worked with a very large data set, millions of test variations from a testing platform. And we did this big data project where we were trying to figure out if there was any correlation between level of effort in a test, like how many hours goes into building and launching an experiment versus probability to hit stat sig. And we found no correlation. So building a landing page is not necessarily going to be a bigger swing or a higher probability of hitting stat sig than a value proposition. I'm just like making up examples to show you the contrast. So what's important, whether you're a low traffic or a high traffic site, is getting closer to using research to get closer to what are the specific conversion roadblocks? What are the things that are preventing people from converting? Because the closer we get to that is the definition of a big swing if we're using that term. So if we're just randomly testing things, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You're going to have low ROI. You're going to have a lot of flat tests. So that is applicable to high traffic and low traffic sites. For low traffic sites, there are strategies from a stats, math, like analytics perspective. You can bucket different URLs together, test evergreen content across more pages. You can test site-wide test. There's things you can do to get the volume up that can help you with efficiency of testing. And there are some companies that just do not have the traffic to actually mathematically support running tests on a website. So in that situation, you don't just throw your hands up in the air and go, forget about it. I guess we don't want to grow our business, right? It doesn't make any sense. So what we can still use is customer data, channel data, primary research methods, quant and qual research, and we can still use like sequential data analysis to get at least a hint at what's happening. It's not testing in a vacuum. We don't recommend that for sites unless it's absolutely necessary. But I hate coming out of webinars like this and people being like, well, I guess zero doesn't work for us. You know what I mean? Because it's a very narrow view of it. And I think we need to do a better job at like helping with optimization overall and growth overall, like in the industry. So those are a couple of quick things on the velocity side, which is the other end of the spectrum. If you have really high velocity, the two biggest for high traffic websites, the two biggest constraints are time and traffic. So traffic, obviously, but time is how much time can we allocate this? So the roadblock we see with testing velocity has nothing to do with like lack of test ideas usually or anything like that. It has to do with inefficiencies in the workflow, the process, and the communication around how quickly we can get tests live and how efficiently we can manage it to a weekly sprint cycle. That's what really matters. So, like when I started the Zero program with Zillow, we were running 10, 15, 25 tests per month because Zillow is an extremely high traffic site, right? So it became less of a game of, at a certain point, you're like, okay, we do need more test ideas. We do need to conduct more research. We do need to spin up more iterations. So like you run one test, the results of that are flat. That spins up 3 new hypotheses that you can run, right? So you have to build that backlog. So there's 2 kind of components to that. There's like the roadmap management and there's like the efficiencies and the workflows. Those are the 2 things we see people getting stuck on at least.